Well, hello, folks. Tell you the truth, I don't know if this thing's working or not. But anyhow, we're gonna try to make it work. And it shows it's recording, and if the sound's working, I guess they're all right. But can't get the light very good here. But anyhow, I just want to do a little shoot the bull session for a while. Might tell a story in a little while, but I have to think about it for a while. I've been awful busy working on my boat. We got the engine back together yesterday and got it fired up. Runs like a sewing machine. I had a new prop ordered. Should have already been in, but they called me and told me it'd be in tomorrow. But a lot of fun working on boat engines. If they make car engines as good as they do boat engines, we'd be a lot better off, because they're more simple. They're all vacuumized inside. But that's not what we're here to talk about. They are doing a wonderful job of moving that stuff out of Baltimore. I watched them a little while last night, caught up on it, and they've really got a lot of metal out of that thing, and getting ready to open up another through fire in about a week, I think, or less. But we'll have to see if that happens. Now, if my skin looks a little blotchy today, I've been out in the wind for the last 2 days, and I've got a little burn on each cheek, and forehead, and my nose. But you gotta get out in that weather once in a while, and that's where it goes. But anyhow, they moved, from what I understood, about 100,000 pounds of, or a ton of wreckage, and or maybe it was 100 ton, I don't know, but they moved a lot. And I think right now, as soon as they get just a few more of those connexes moved, those big shipping containers, I think they'll start removing that stuff from the bow. Unless they did it today. I haven't watched it today. I just watched it last night. But sad situation. And there's been another one, lost power. I can't remember what harbor it was, but I know there was 3. Oh, I ain't been getting my sleep either. Yeah, there was 3 that lost their mooring. In other words, they was untied up at Pittsburgh and was floating down the Ohio River. And I think they caught up with them and got them under control. But there's a lot of that going on. It just don't sound good to me. And we just have to wait and see what happens. There's been so many people come in here, illegal aliens, that it's going to take a while to get caught up. They're going to have to do some deporting, I'm sure. And if Trump gets in here and gets in, he'll get it done about quicker than anybody. I've got good mind that he will. He done what he said he'd do last time. I think he'll do the same this time. And the way they're going in New York and Atlanta, they're just handing it to him on a silver platter. They get in more trouble every day. Those DAs and stuff, or district attorneys, are getting barred and charges brought against them. That new judge, he's overstepped his bounds, and you can't just make up a law. Even if you're a judge, you can't make something up that is not on the books, and you can't tell a person he's guilty before he's had his trial. That's what they're trying to do, that, and it ain't going to work. We had a quick drop in temperature here tonight. I was out in that sun all day working. I had to bring my boat outside after I got it all back together and put the motor, drop it in a 55-gallon plastic drum that I got to start my engines up on and be able to work on them. And it was warm, nice, but it's done dropped down into the high 40s, I think, or low 50s right now. About a 20 degree drop, I guess. And it's cold sitting here in the house right now. I think I turned the air conditioner on for my grandson, so it makes it cold in here. But anyhow, we'll get through it. I'm going to put this little short on, or this little piece on YouTube, and I like 7 people, 7 subscribers, having enough to go live on YouTube. And I guess you call it asking and begging, but I'm asking you to please give us some likes and get us, if you watch it and you like it, sign up, subscribe to the channel. And I've got a lot more stories to tell, but if I just keep telling them as often as I was, all 39 videos are family stories or war stories, and if I keep telling them in that order or that fast, I'm going to run out of stories in about 6 months. And I'd like to keep some around and tell more of them. But I won't tell a story if it ain't true. So if you haven't read any of my stories, go on YouTube to Papaw and Dill. Papaw blank and blank Dill, Dill. You don't get no simpler than that. And it's easy to remember. So just go over to Papaw and Dill and just start out where we first started out and just watch them all the way through. Now some of them is 2 parts, because I had to make it to where I could try to put it on TikTok, and they could only be 10 minutes long. And but some of them are even long for YouTube, I guess. I don't know really. But if you like it, subscribe to it, and I'll get on where I can go live on my big computer. And if we do that, I can do a lot more content. I've even got some home movies that they're not very much of it, because they were 8mm, and a lot of them was taken back in the 50s and the 60s, and especially my ones in Vietnam in the late 60s, and they about faded out, but I took and put them on CDs, and I'm going to show some of them if I can figure out how to do it. My grandson said I could do it, so if he says I can do it, we'll figure it out. And show you some of the Vietnamese that worked for me my last 6 months over there. Now, I don't think I had any that worked for me before that time. because they were just cleaning our latrines and doing their laundry and stuff like that, and we didn't video them. But the ones that worked in the PX for me, I got some videos on that, and they just as sweet as they could be, and the men was hard workers, the girls was hard workers, and I just thought the world of all of them. And but I'm going to show some of them if I can get to where I can go live and do it on the big computer. Now, this telephone stuff ain't worth 2 cents, but in my book. But anyhow, I've been watching Catfish Dave a little bit. He's catching some big fish right along in this wet spell. And all through the winter time he caught some good ones. And he's good at what he does. I don't know if I like him better in the boat or but when he was on the bank. It's harder to catch big fish on the bank, I think, than it is on the boat. And the boat makes it a lot easier and more accessible to get to it, especially if you got depth finders and stuff like that. Of course, if you can read the river, you can find where the fish is at. But now I watch Mike Morgan a lot. Mike's a good old down-to-earth, hard-working boy, and I really like him. And Arms Family Homestead, I like them. I watch them all the time, and I make sure I watch those every day when they got a new one on. Sometimes go back and watch them again even after I've watched them. I just ordered some pecans from Arms Family Homestead. I love pecan pie, and I love just pecans to eat. And I ordered a pack. I want to try them out. He said they was awful fresh, so I want to try them, see if they're fresh. And I was going to get a pack of those chips. I like to use the chips on pecan pie better than I do, because I always grind mine up in a blender to get them to the size I want, and use them on pecan pies, and instead of using the whole pecan. And those chips that they got, I think it's a 5-pound bag or a 2-pound bag. I don't remember what it is now, but they's out of stock. As soon as they get some more in, I'll order some of them if I like the big ones. And I'll know that as soon as I get ready to roast some. And of course I'll eat them without roasting them to see how fresh they are. But I always roast mine when I put them on my pecan pies, or when I make coconut pecan icing for German chocolate cakes. And red velvet cake's good with that too. But and also I'm going to do a few of my recipes for you as soon as I can get to where I can go live, because I think a recipe is better done live right at the time than doing it and just getting it on the camera, and you don't really have anybody on the other side of that camera unless you're live. And when I bake and I'm telling people what to do, I want to tell them as I do it. And I just think that's better. May not be, but just my own feelings about it. But I make a baked bean that, now I don't know if they really did this or not, but I have one family that had people to come all the way from Florida just so they could take back some baked beans after the dinner for Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner. Now I don't know if that's true or not, because I never checked to see if that's what they done with them. But I know they ate a heck of a lot of them and loved. They said they loved them. And baked beans is not hard to make. It's just TLC. You got to watch the little things. The little things. It's just like just a little bit of mustard goes a long way in baked beans. Most people don't use mustard in baked beans. But if you want all the flavors to combine and still be able to taste each flavor, you got to use mustard. And it's the same way with brown sugar. When you're using brown sugar in baked beans, it don't make no difference. You can put a pound of brown sugar or a cup, and it won't get no different taste to it unless you put 1 teaspoon of white sugar with it. And when you do that, it changes it all together and makes all the flavor of that brown sugar, the maple flavor and the sugarcane flavor, come out of that brown sugar, whether you use dark or light. Now, I always use the dark on my baked beans, and I'm not going to tell you the recipe here because then you wouldn't be looking forward to it. But they're an award-winning. I've taken them to many contests, and they've won some awards. So something's good about them anyhow. And it better be a good baked bean or I won't need it. And you know, Campbell barbecue beans. Now, back years ago in I believe it was the late 70s or early 80s, Campbell's come out with the barbecue bean. Now, this before barbecuing in the backyard really took off as an every weekend thing. There was people that done it, but it wasn't so big as it is now. And it really didn't start until about the mid-80s. It's when it got blooming and tailgate and all this stuff. Barbecue contest, and first one thing and another, it just blowed out of proportion. And really got a good lot of recipes out there to go by. But when Campbell's barbecue beans come out, there was very little of that going on every weekend. And if they'd have just hung around with that recipe, that was one of the best barbecue bean recipes I ever seen. I could take a can of that and some butter and bread, cornbread or light bread. It didn't make no difference as long as it's bread. And a jar of hot peppers, and I could sit down there and eat that whole big can of beans. They were good. I think it was 4 or 5 different kinds of beans in it. But oh, it was good. And it was out about a year and a half, and it was really going big in my little town. And it just all of a sudden they quit handling it. Well, I found a place in Louisville that still had them, and I bought 4 cases of them. And that was all they had. They thought they was going to get more, so they sold the 4 cases. And they ain't got no more since. And that was back in the early 80s, or late 70s, whichever it was. Only about a 3 or 4 year span there that they was in our area. And I don't think it was that long. I think it's more like 2. But boy, they was good. And I wrote Campbell's and conversed with them on it, and they say it just wasn't something that was taken off. Well, if they'd have been around when this Bush's baked beans and stuff come out, which Bush's didn't have the baked beans back when they come out. They was no barbecue beans or anything. Bush was a late bloomer compared to what they was. And what's that one's name? well, there's several of them now. I just can't remember them all. But Campbell's was the first one that really had one that was good. And if they'd have been around when all this barbecue stuff took off, they'd have been sitting on top of the mountain. The only thing that they ever made that was outstanding, and that was their barbecue beans. Now they ain't got nothing, as far as I'm concerned, except their cream of chicken, cream of celery, and stuff like that, which I use a lot of that for cooking. And it's just their soups are, well, they run a lot of their soups by going to these off-the-wall stuff like Heart Healthy and all that. They ain't a bit healthier than the regular old ones they had. What they had was good, and then they started putting all these extra preservatives in them. Well, the way they was last time, they didn't last long enough to go bad. Now they'll sit in a darn cupboard for a month, 2 months at a time before they'll eat. People don't care that much about them. And the only thing that they didn't try to fix and make better, I think, was the cream of chicken and the chicken noodle and the vegetable beef soup. And the bean with bacon, they done something to it. Now, it ain't near as good as what it used to be. It was awful good at one time. But they try to make something better, and you can almost bet $100 on that it's going to be worse than what it was. And most of them are pretty darn good at one time. Same way with Denny Moore beef stew. Denny Moore beef stew was outrageous at one time, great. And then they changed it from the portions of actual beef in there. They switched it to hamburger, and hamburger, even just because it's beef, don't taste nothing like a piece of regular beef in a beef stew. I don't care if you fix it yourself. If you use hamburger in place of the beef, it ain't going to taste the same, because it's got a different talent in it than what the meat itself does. You trim most of the fat off the meat anyhow, and hamburger's made with fat. It's ground right up in it. And when you get that much fat in your beef stew, it ain't no good. It has a completely different flavor. And right now, H&H, that's being sold by Save-A-Lots, has the best beef stew going. It's better than Armour, better than Denny Moore, and it is good. I guess they still got it. I haven't looked lately. They stay sold out of it at my little store so much, I don't know if they still make it or not. But they got H&H has got beef slices and gravy, or beef chunks and gravy, and you can take and throw that on a slice of bread and some mashed potatoes, and you got a beef Manhattan, boy, out of this world. Because the preservatives it got in it are so few that it just tastes wonderful. But that's my opinion. But anyhow, try them. Try the H&H brands. I like H&H brands on about everything. And their H&H beef stew is awful good. It is awful good. When they got it, they sell out that stuff fast here in my little hometown. But anyhow, I guess I'll squawk for enough. Just if you can, give me a like button. Try to subscribe. I only need 7 more. And if it's just 7 of you watches this, just make sure you're subscribed. And don't forget to go back and check every now and then, because sometimes YouTube knocks you off and you have to resubscribe. So y'all get me to that 50 so I can go live, and we'll be baking cakes. Of course, I know everybody can bake cakes, but I don't know of anybody don't like to watch somebody bake a cake. And you can get so hungry of watching somebody bake something. I think my television's got smell-o-vision. because I can watch them make something, boy, and I can just smell that and taste it just as good. And I just sometimes think it's got smell-o-vision. But anyhow, I'll knock this one off. And y'all have a blessed day. God bless you if you just open up your heart and open up your mind and let Him in. And try to make somebody laugh today, or at least smile. And if you do, you never know. It could just change the world. And that was a good saying about a fellow YouTuber. Passed away here a few months ago, and he was a good guy. He was from Kentucky here, and I just kind of, I know Daniel Arm says it a little bit too. We just all kind of carry on. Cameraman Ron's who I'm talking about. We just all kind of push that along every now and then and say it so nobody forgets. So y'all have a good day, and I'll catch you on the next one.